You want to know what there is to do in Boise in the springtime. The weather's starting to warm up a little bit, then it gets cool a bit, then it gets warm a bit, then it gets cool a bit. You know, we do the dance for a little bit. But we have quite an array of activities. I hear a lot of times from people moving here that they want Boise's weather. The change of seasons is part of that. So we're going to discover the top 7 things to do in Boise's springtime here locally. If you don't know me by now, my name is Brian Hymas, realtor here at Brian Hymas Real Estate up here in Boise at Boise Premier Real Estate. I'm helping you discover Boise and all that we have to offer, whether it's weather, whether it's things to do, whether it's top attractions, whatever it might be. I'm helping you get to know Boise and the surrounding area. If you like Boise, you're trying to discover all you can about it, then you'll want to tap the subscribe button, not only for me, but because it's all things Boise, all things that help you know and educate yourself with what there is here in the Boise area. After you tap subscribe, hit the bell so that way you get notified when the new videos come on. And look, we're getting dozens of phone calls of people like you trying to move to the Boise Valley saying, thank you for what you're putting out. We're trying to move to the Boise area and we want you to help us. There is no greater compliment for me than to receive those texts, emails, or calls. So if you're thinking about moving to the Boise Valley, please call, text, email the contact information on your screen and we'll get in touch and we'll get you set up to live in the best place on earth. That is, of course, Boise, Idaho. I am born and raised here in Boise, was an appraiser for a couple years, now real estate agent for 4 years. I would love to help you out. Born and raised in Southwest Boise, went to Meridian High School, so it's kind of the edge of Boise, but mostly Meridian. And I now live in Eagle, lived here for the past 6 years. So if it's anything Boise, Eagle, Meridian, Star, that area, I hope I can be of help to you and get you up here to the Boise area. And be sure to stick around to the end because I do have a bonus for you for sticking around to the end. One of the easiest hikes around here in the Boise Valley is a hike we call Table Rock. Table Rock's a plateau on the east side of Boise in the foothills that overlooks the Boise Valley. In order to get to Table Rock, you can park at the Idaho State Penitentiary and do the hike all the way up to the top. You used to be able to drive really close to the top. They've since passed a city ordinance where you can't park up there close on the back side of the hill. So the best option is to hike. It's a small hike, probably a 45-minute hike. I have ran that before in about 25 minutes with a daughter who was late to meet up with a girls group in church. And, you know, it can be done. I will say that was half, necessity. It's amazing what you can do when you have to. Most times you're hiking that, you can hike that with littles, easy if you have a family. If it's you and friends and you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever it is, that's easy to do. Just walking it's an incline the whole way. I don't think it's a terribly hard hike. But when you get to the top, the views are spectacular. You can see, kind of see how Boise lays out with the airport, with downtown. Some of the buildings you'll see from it there, they'll be like, what's that white building in the middle? That's St. Al's. Eagle will spread out to the right. It's really a good little hike and the views are spectacular. And the cross that's on the top, this interesting story on that. When I was young, I was like 10 years old, activists from out of state were trying to remove that cross. People ask me all the time about Boise's religious demographic. And it's quite a religious community. I would say there's different parts. I wouldn't say everyone's religious by any stretch, but good conservative, just good wholesome values. We'll just keep it at that. Just because I don't know what I can and can't say, but I hope you know what I'm trying to say. And but great place. Again, that's Table Rock, easy hike. Park at Idaho State Penitentiary. It's the old one. I've done videos on that before. And you can get to the top and overlook the valley. Number 2, I'm just gonna say it's biking as a whole. Now, biking can be the Greenbelt. Greenbelt is the asphalt walkway that goes next to the Boise River. I think I've touched on this in almost every video. So if you don't know it by now, it's about 20-mile stretch, but it's 30 miles of walkway, bridges, pathways. It's so beautiful. A lot of cities have these Greenbelt type things. It's a lot of shaded areas. Some of it's out in the sun or whatever else, but it's next to the river, super beautiful. Goes all the way from Lucky Peak all the way into Eagle. The river goes clear out towards Ontario, Oregon. The river's there, it's just the pathway comes on and off and there's parts where it's asphalt, goes to dirt, goes back onto asphalt. For the most part, you can rollerblade or bike the whole thing. Biking though, if you're into it, you can go to Eagle Bike Park. That's more of the climbing back and forth, shift down your lower gear, climb to the top and then cruise down. Done that quite a few times. Actually haven't done it until this year, and I've done it quite a few times this year. Super fun activity to be out in the sun, working the legs, and you get a little view up top. It's pretty fun. Also, next thing, you can take your bike down to the Boise Bike Park. Boise Bike Park's more of the part that I did was riding your bike up the short trail. I mean, we're talking about a 50-foot, maybe 25-foot incline, and then you come down and kind of race down little hills, and you've got beginner, medium, intermediate, and expert trails. You got people on their little bikes doing tons of cool tricks. People are doing inverted tricks. You know, they're shifting their handlebars and doing a ton of cool stuff. I obviously can't, well, not obviously, I can't do that. And but it was fun. It's a cool little bike. We went there with our family, my brother's family, my sister's family, and my parents. You know, it had a little part for the kids to take their Strider bikes. It had parts for, I mean, literally all ages were doing it. My 1-year-old at the time was doing it. He's 2 now. He was, this was a couple months ago. The 4-year-old, my brother's 4-year-old, my 4-year-old, everyone was doing the little easy tricks, and my brother's kids who go there all the time, 4-year-old was doing the same stuff I was doing. So it's a really cool bike park to be at. You can see in the footage, it's really close to downtown. St. Luke's downtown is right around the corner. It's a pretty cool place. I'd only been there one time, and it was pretty fun to be there. Fishing! Boise is known for its fishing. Idaho as a whole is known for its fishing. Whether you're in Hell's Canyon or the Salmon River, sturgeon fishing, and you're going up a riverboat, that's kind of fun. I actually had a friend, he builds homes for Alturas Homes. He just went up to Hell's Canyon last week and was sturgeon fishing. So there's some great world-class fishing around the corner. And that's not a trip for everybody. He did a little private 4-seater plane into a little landing strip there and then did it. But the fishing locally is pretty cool. So you can be on the Boise River fly fishing. If you're into fly fishing, there's a ton of fly fishermen that hit that. The other day, and hopefully I have pictures that are showing, the other day I took my kids to a pond that is off the Boise River. We were catching sunfish. I'd actually never even heard of a sunfish. It was fun. We used a sunfish to use those as bait. There's bass in there, and it was pretty cool. Ton of fish off that Boise River. If you go to the Waihees, you can go to Snake River, you can go to Payette River. There's a ton of lakes. CJ Strike's only an hour away. Mormon Reservoir is a couple hours away. Little Camas is that's pretty much dried up right now, is an hour and a half away. Ton of ponds and reservoirs. Lucky Peak, there's stuff that in Anderson Dam. Anderson Dam with kokanee in the summer. That's, I guess, for springtime activities, but you get the point. There's a ton of fishing that's going on, whether it's rivers or lakes. Here locally, within a couple hours, if you love fishing, this is a great spot. And then if you go even to eastern Idaho from here, 4-hour, 5-hour drive to go to Island Park, there at Henry's Fork. World-class fishing. People fly from all over the world to fly fish Henry's Fork. Also, if you're going to get a fishing license, might as well combine that with the hunting license, and it's under $40 to get one of those. Super easy. Do that with the Idaho fishing game. One of the funnest things we do as a family in the springtime is head out to a park and simply have a picnic. A year ago, we did a bike ride on the Greenbelt and then had a picnic at Morel Park here in Eagle. Ton of parks. And there's I don't know if it's a city ordinance or a bylaw, whatever it is. Most new neighborhoods have a park or an elementary school in them, and so they're pretty abundant. There's a ton of parks here. Ann Morrison, Catherine Albertson, Julia Davis downtown. One that we've gone to, Gerber Park. We've gone to Ann Morrison Park for picnics. And just sit down and enjoy it and sit in the shade. That's just kind of our style. We love to just kind of sit back and relax and just enjoy the good weather. Another place that we love to go is the Morrison-Knudsen Nature Center. You can get there from the Greenbelt while you're biking, or you can actually drive there while you're downtown. There are a ton of fish there. There's even some other animals that live on the river there. And you can have glass walls and you can look and see the fish swimming in their real habitat as opposed to kind of being in an aquarium. We'll get to an aquarium next, but really pretty cool place that's located downtown. Remember, if you like what you're seeing, tap that subscribe button, because why? It's going to give you all things Boise. This is a channel for those who are investigating Boise. So Don't miss anything that comes your way by clicking the bell after you click subscribe. That way you get notified when a new video is put out. Because everything I make is for you, to understand Boise, to live it at its fullest, to move here, to be here, to breathe here, to live here, everything. I love Boise, I want you to love it too. That's what this channel is for. So click subscribe and then click the bell so you can be getting the instant notification on your email when these new videos come out. One of the things you can do is actually visit a farm. You can do local tours with farmers. You can visit them. I know there's one place that's kind of a more commercialized farm. It's called Babby Farms. It's out in Caldwell. That's a place where you can take your kids. It's kind of a petting zoo. It's real life. They're out in the sun. So, you know, springtime's a great time for that because you are not going to burn and you don't have to, you know, be out there in the 95-degree heat. Plus, the animals don't like the heat either, so when it's not too hot, they can be out there with you. That's a pretty cool place. There are greenhouses and things like that. I know some people are into like flower farms and stuff that's starting to bloom. We have a flower farm out in Parma. That's a good place to go as well. Super fun. My wife loves that place. My kids did too. We've got some pictures of that. Hopefully those are showing for you as well. And that is a very fun place to go. So farms, whether it's, you know, flowers, greenhouses, or actually an animal farm, those are good places to be here in the spring as well. Now, going from farms to other animal places, we have the Boise Zoo. Now, let me be very clear about this. This is the Boise Zoo. This is not San Diego Zoo. This is not a big time zoo, but it does have, you know, lions, tigers, giraffes, little displays of different tiny animals and creatures. It's pretty cool. It's just small and quaint. It's out of Julia Davis Park. Another thing with animals that I have found interesting, I don't think I'll do, is the World Center Birds of Prey, which is located, I think it's South Cole, about 5 miles outside of the city. And so those are some things with animals you might pick up on doing, but zoos and the World Birds of Prey, definitely a good time to see those in the spring as the weather only gets hotter. If you do visit in the summer, you might want to check out in the morning hours, but it's great springtime activity. Number 7 on our list, and don't worry, there is a bonus. Number 7 on our list is the hot springs. You will love the amount of hot springs there are. An hour south of Boise is given hot springs. About 5 minutes shy of Garden Valley, there's a hot springs that's off the road. You park next to mile marker 3 about, and you head up this little quarter-mile hike up the road. There's tiered and ponds. There's a hot springs out in Payette. It's called Rocky Canyon Hot Springs. There are hot springs all over the state. There's some up in Lowman. There's some over there off in by Sun Valley. Tons and tons of hot springs. There's Gold Fork Hot Springs up to there near McCall. There's one north of McCall as well. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. That one's more of a pay to go into the hot springs pool. So there's some cool areas and some natural, some, you know, summer pools. There's an Idaho City Hot Springs, which you have a reservation to go there, and it's sometimes there's like adult nights only where they have like, I don't drink, but I think it's like a wine night and, you know, wine and hot springs, and other days are family nights and family days. And so quite a wide variety of hot springs, ton of hot springs, super fun. There are even hot springs off the cold rivers. I remember rafting a stretch of the Payette River and stopping. Luckily, my friends know the rivers left and right, and stopping, and there's like this cascading hot springs waterfall that just dumps right into the river. Super cool. So there's a ton of fun stuff there when it comes to hot springs in Idaho. And that bonus I promised you at the beginning of the video, that is number 8, the Aquarium of Boise. That one is located by the mall. That's Cole and Franklin area. Super cool place. It's actually decently small, but the amount of animals they have in that aquarium is amazing. I had the chance to feed rays while we were there. My daughter took a cockroach and pet the cockroach. Not my thing, but she loved it. It was actually her favorite part when we asked her about, you know, her favorite part from that day. There was a tarantula. There was fish you could feed. They would like come and peck your hand and suck on. It was apparently, you know those fish that you sit in those chairs and they'll come and eat your skin? There's some of those. I can't remember the name of those.
They're all biting me. I feel
There was this lizard that the worker there was telling us about, how they put basically like this full-on protective helmet and body gear on just to feed it. It's there in the aquarium as well. Didn't have a Komodo dragon, but it's something similar to that as well. Ton of cool stuff there at the aquarium. My stats that I have on it say there's over 35,000 gallons of salt water And so they filled out a ton of animals, obviously. And then there's also over 250 species of animals there. Pretty dang cool. Pretty dang cool. There's a huge, huge manta ray. I mean, it was like, I bet you it was like 4 feet wide. There was some cool stuff there. I was pretty shocked. I'd never been there before. My wife and kids have been there actually a handful of times. That was my first time there this past spring. If you're into getting on the side-by-side, the Razor, or you are into motocross, or you have bikes, or tennis, or baseball, or just being at the park, I know it's mid-May for us and our neighborhood pool just opened up. I actually had someone on my YouTube channel comment that they love Morel mushroom hunting. That might be Morel, I'm not even sure. That's how into it I am. But they were shocked that I didn't know what it was. I actually did some research on it. This is a couple months ago. It's a thing. People hunt for these mushrooms. I don't know what they're for, but it's cooking or eating, I'm not even sure, but they love it, and they're apparently worth quite a bit of money, and that can be something that you are into as well. So anyway, there are quite a wide variety. I hope you've seen how cool Boise is. Of course, there is no greater compliment if you like what I'm sending your way than for you to call, text, or email the number or email on your screen. We can get in touch and make sure that you get yourself to the greatest place on earth, aka Boise, Idaho. Whether it's Boise, Eagle, Meridian, Star, those are kind of where I work the most. I also work in Nampa, Kuna, Middleton, Caldwell. You know, we do it all. It's the Treasure Valley. That's where I was born and raised. It's where I can hopefully help you find a home. I would love it. There is no greater compliment for you to join the others of dozens and dozens of people who have done the same. It is why I do these videos, because ultimately I want to help you find a home here. And if I can't help you find a home here, I want you to fall in love with Boise. Click the next video so you can watch and keep learning about Boise. So we're going to discover Boise's top 7 springtime activities according to Mr. Me. I know. Hit that next. Dang. That wasn't good. Maybe I could just... If you don't know, be my doubt. And be sure to stick around to number... Happy